What do residents of Penn Avenue East think about their neighborhood? $500,000 are on the line as DC government thinks about a new area plan and a Main Streets program. This July, we offered free ice cream to residents and stakeholders who wanted to share their story. I drove our nifty humanities truck out to 3 different spots in the neighborhood to listen to residents. Here are some of their stories.
Throughout the summer, I come down here and work and watch the youth summer camps just flood this place. They'll go swimming, and then they'll come down here skate, and then they'll go back swimming.
Okay.
So, born and raised.
Yeah. It has a lot of culture and a lot of family orientation around here. In this one street is where all the action happens.
People here that I've met are nice. I love the library system here, which is why I'm here today.
Just to relax, enjoy my weekend off, look at the scenery, the old and the new and the same, and just enjoy it.
You see people working out and stuff like that all the time and really doing it in groups. Like, that's what makes this area so great, is the intertwining of the different individuals in the communities.
Places for the kids to play, like a playground. I feel like there aren't close enough playgrounds. Like, don't get me wrong, there are plenty of playgrounds in the city, but you gotta travel to get to them.
Just more easily accessible, just public activities for kids.
So when I think about a grocery store, if you live right there in that area, where would you go to the grocery store at? I don't feel like there's a close enough grocery store.
Places where we can get good food at a good price, like everywhere else. There are no Harris Teeters or Trader Joe's on this side. It's just like IGAs and Food Rights, and the stuff in there is not acceptable. It's really not. It's like days away from being spoiled. Produce is not like you would see on the other side. Even the variety of things they don't have on this side.
Making sure that it's not like a food desert. You know, I talked about the farmer's market, because you do have to travel quite a ways sometimes to get to a good grocery store that's got fresh produce and not just everything that's in cans and in bags and in the frozen food aisle. You spoke about economic and housing, and those things are great, but I think a lot of times in this area people start throwing around words like revitalization and economic stimulation. It all sounds like gentrification. Housing is always great, but usually, like I said, I'm from Baltimore, I'm from in the city, so it's like, yeah, that revitalization that came to downtown Baltimore ended up in a lot of the people, specifically people of color, black people that were living down there, being pushed out because the houses that came, they couldn't afford those houses. And then a lot of young white kids that were going to University of Maryland or Johns Hopkins or whatever came and moved right on in, and now it doesn't even look like what it once was. So I think that's a lot of the fear, honestly. It's like, sure, do we want housing? Yeah. Do we want affordable housing? Yeah. Do we want affordable housing for us? That's what we want. But I think the people that are really making the moves in the room don't see it that way.
I mean, they're definitely putting up housing, but no one can afford it. So what's the point?
What appears to be older neighborhoods to me appears to be gentrifying. It seems like a lot of the buildings that people may have lived in for an extended period of time are in transition, or they're just not taken care of at all. So it appears to be that they're either being left to decay, or I could clearly tell that there's some kind of transition going on.
I think right now, small businesses is what is keeping Ward 7 alive. You know, small businesses want to give back into the community, make sure that, as they say, the black dollar, make sure it recycles in the community. But I can't, because I have to go buy my resources outside of my community. 90% of it is pushing these small businesses out and then bringing in big business. I have nothing against Walmart or anything like that, but you bring in these big businesses and it's like, this community, of course they're going to go to Walmart. But it was also a mom and pop store that was a Walmart for them before this Walmart came.
I would increase the volume of open storefronts along that corridor coming up the hill. As I'm driving up or down the hill, I can't distinguish one business from the other, or if they're even open. Better storefronts, of course, I prefer for them to be African-American owned storefronts, so some type of a African-American corridor.